Nobody warned them. Not the neighbor who handed over the box, not the vet who checked her over in under 4 minutes, not the internet with all its opinions and all its certainty. Nobody warned them that a small brown tabby with green eyes and a torn ear could walk into a house and rearrange everything inside it without making a single sound. She weighed 2.1 pounds when they found her, sitting inside an Amazon box on the front porch on a Wednesday morning in October. No mother, no siblings, no explanation, just a kitten with enormous golden green eyes staring up at them like she had already decided this was her house and was simply waiting for them to figure that out too. But to understand what she became, you have to understand what almost happened first. Her name was Maple. The family who took her in, David, his wife Claire, and their 10-year-old son Henry, had never planned on a cat. David was allergic, mildly. Manageable, he said, the way people say things they haven't fully tested yet. Claire had grown up with dogs and believed quietly but firmly that cats were indifferent by design. Henry had wanted a pet for 3 years and had accepted, with the particular sadness of a child who understands that some things are just not going to happen, that the answer was always going to be no. And then a box appeared on the porch. The first week was hard. Maple hid behind the washing machine for 4 days straight. David sneezed 11 times on Tuesday and started Googling antihistamines. Claire set out food 3 times a day and heard nothing, saw nothing, found only an empty bowl each morning as evidence that something was still alive back there. Henry sat on the laundry room floor every evening after school. He didn't call for her. He didn't reach behind the machine. He just sat there, backpack still on, doing homework on the floor, being present in the quiet, patient way that children sometimes are before the world teaches them that waiting is a waste of time. David passed the doorway one evening and stopped. Henry was reading out loud. Not loudly, just quietly narrating the chapter he was on, the way you talk to someone listening from the next room. David didn't say anything. He walked back to the kitchen and thought about the empty bowl that kept getting emptied every morning by something that was still deciding whether to trust them. On day 7, David looked at Claire over dinner. "Maybe this isn't working," he said. Claire looked at the empty bowl by the washing machine. "Give it 1 more week," she said. They almost didn't, but what happened on morning of day 7 changed everything. If you're still watching and haven't subscribed yet, that genuinely stings a little. Hit subscribe right now. You are not going to want to miss what comes next. Day 7, 6:48 a.m. David was standing at the kitchen counter making coffee, eyes half open, still in his socks, thinking about nothing in particular. He heard a sound behind him. He turned around. Maple was sitting in the middle of the kitchen floor, not hiding, not running, just sitting there in the early morning light, staring at him like she had conducted a full assessment of the situation and had arrived at a decision. David stood completely still. She looked at him for a long moment, then she walked forward 3 steps, sat down again, and slowly, deliberately blinked. David, who had spent 41 years considering himself a dog person, who had spent 7 days quietly building a case for returning her, stood in his kitchen in his socks and felt something he couldn't name shift somewhere in his chest. He crouched down. She walked the rest of the way. She put one small paw on his knee. That was it. That was the whole thing. No dramatic rescue, no miracle moment, just a 2.1-pound tabby who had spent 7 days deciding whether these people were worth the risk, and then walked across a kitchen floor and made her choice. Henry found out at breakfast. He came downstairs to find his father sitting cross-legged on the kitchen floor with a small cat asleep in his lap, holding his coffee cup very carefully so as not to disturb her. Henry stood in the doorway for a long moment. "I thought you were allergic," he said. David looked down at Maple. "I am," he said. Henry sat down on the floor next to his father. They didn't say anything else. From that morning on, the house was different. Not loudly different, not in ways you could point to immediately, but different the way a room is different when someone opens a window. The same space, the same furniture, the same light, but something moving through it now that wasn't there before. Maple followed the sunlight. That was her primary occupation in those early weeks. She tracked the patch of morning light from the kitchen to the hallway to the living room with the focused dedication of someone managing a very important resource. She claimed the armchair by the window. She claimed the left side of the couch. She claimed the specific spot on Henry's bed against the wall that Henry had to learn to sleep around. He did so without complaint. Claire watched all of this. She had been the most skeptical. She had grown up believing cats kept their distance, that the warmth in those stories people told was projection, that the animal was simply present and the human was simply grateful, and they were calling that a relationship. She changed her mind on a Tuesday in November. She had been sitting at the kitchen table after Henry left for school, coffee going cold, staring at a work email she didn't want to answer, feeling the specific weight of a morning that hadn't started right. Maple jumped up onto the table. She walked across the surface, which she knew she wasn't supposed to, and sat down directly in front of Claire's laptop, not beside it, in front of it, blocking it completely. Then she looked at Claire with the calm authority of someone who had diagnosed the problem and arrived with the solution. Claire laughed. It came out surprised, half unwilling, louder than she expected. Maple blinked. Claire reached out and scratched behind her ears. Maple closed her eyes and purred, a low, steady, unhurried sound, like something that had been waiting a long time to be heard. Claire sat there for 20 minutes. The email went unanswered. She didn't mind. David's allergies, for the record, never fully went away. He kept antihistamines in the bathroom cabinet. He took one almost every day. He never once mentioned returning her. Maple was not extraordinary by any definition the world usually uses. She was not a rare breed. She was not rescued from something dramatic. She was not photographed at a shelter with a number around her neck and a story printed on a card. She was a brown tabby in a cardboard box on a porch in October. The kind of cat that gets scrolled past. The kind of cat that nobody warns you about. Because nobody thinks to warn you about the ordinary ones. Nobody tells you that a 2.1-pound kitten can spend 7 days behind a washing machine deciding whether you are worth trusting, and the moment she decides you are will be one of the most important moments of your year. Nobody tells you that a cat can sit down in front of a laptop on a bad Tuesday morning and fix something that no email could touch. Nobody warns you that the box on the porch might contain exactly what your house was missing. They just let you find out for yourself. Some things can't be explained until you've lived them. Did Maple choose them because she sensed they were ready, or did she make them ready by choosing them? Tell me in the comments.